we are going to discuss about Davison-Germer's experiment. So, in Davison-Germer's experiment, the first practical evidence for the wave nature of the matter waves was given by C.J. Davison and L.H. Germer in the year 1927. It was the first experimental support to de Broglie's hypothesis. The principle behind the working of this Davison-Germer's experiment is the electrons which are coming from the source are incident on the target and the electrons get diffracted. These diffracted electrons produce diffraction pattern. It shows the wave nature of matter waves. So this is the principle behind the working of the Davison-Germer's experiment. So coming to the construction and working of the Davison-Germer's experiment, the experimental setup is shown in the figure. So it mainly consists of three parts. First one is the filament, denoted by the letter F in the diagram. Next one is the target, T, that is the nickel target, and third one is the circular scale. So these are the three parts in this experimental setup. So coming to the working of this Davison-Germer's experiment, here the tungsten filament F is heated by a low battery. So it is heated by a low tension battery. Then electrons are produced, and these are accelerated by a high voltage battery. The electrons which are produced from the filament F, they are accelerated by a high tension battery, and the accelerated electrons are accumulated into a fine beam of pencil by passing through a system of pinholes in the cylinder A. The beam of electrons is allowed to incident on the nickel crystal. Now the electrons which are passing from the filament as a pencil of beam, now they are incident on the target of nickel. Why we have chosen, the scientists have chosen the nickel? Because the construction of the atoms or the arrangement of the atoms in the nickel crystal are good and highly systematic order. So they have taken the target as the nickel crystal. So when a pencil of beam coming from the filament F, they are now incident on the target nickel. Then the electrons are scattered in all directions. The intensity of the scattered electrons is measured by a circular scale. In this experiment, an electron or movable collector is connected to the galvanometer. So now the collector is connected to the galvanometer in order to measure the amount of electrons that are being collected in different angles, and the voltage of the filament is also varied in different steps, and the experiment is carried out at different voltages, and the collected electrons are also taken readings at the galvanometer at different angles. So now a graph is plotted between the scattered angle theta and the number of scattered electrons as shown in the figure. So here, as shown in the graph, a graph is plotted between the number of scattered electrons and the scattered angle. So The intensity of scattered angle is maximum at theta is equal to 50 degrees and accelerating voltage is equal to 54 volts. So the calculation of wavelength associated with the electrons is 2d sine theta is equal to n lambda. For nickel crystal, the interplanar spacing in nickel crystal is d is equal to 0.909 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. And for the first order spectrum, that is for n is equal to 1, and theta is the angle between the incident angle and the surface of the crystal. So that is the diffracted angle theta is equal to 65 degrees. Substituting the values of d and theta in the equation 1, we get 2 into 0.909 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters into sine 65 is equal to 1 into lambda. We get lambda is equal to 1.65 Armstrongs. And from de Broglie wavelength, we know that lambda is equal to 12.27 by root V volts. But V is equal to 54 volts. Now substituting the value of V is equal to 54 in lambda is equal to 12.27 by root 54, we get 1.67 Armstrongs. Therefore lambda is equal to 1.67 Armstrongs. So here, when the lambda is calculated from the Davidson-Germers experiment, we get the lambda value as lambda is equal to 1.65 Armstrongs, and from the de Broglie wavelength we get lambda is equal to 1.67 Armstrongs. So from both the values prove that practical and theoretical wavelengths are almost equal. Hence the wave nature of the particle is proved experimentally. Thank you.